Hey planner friends, how's it going? Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. My name is Ryan and this is A Man with the Plans, and we are back to do my October 2019 budget. I know we're already in the month of October, but better late than never, I always say. So as you can see here, we're keeping it simple. No budget kit this week, just some fun like denim-ish washi that I believe Emily gave me from Favorite Emily. I'll leave a link to her channel up over there. And then some fun pen, just kind of moving forward, nothing too crazy this week. We're getting right into the numbers. I went ahead and sort of preset it up so we can kind of move through it at a faster pace. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Ryan. This is A Man with the Plans, where we talk all about planning, budgeting, living your best life. I'm currently training for a marathon, so we throw some of that in there for good measure. If you love budgeting and planning and you want to stick around, go ahead and click that red subscribe button so you can see my content in your feed whenever it's published. Some info about me: I'm a single adult working in local government here in Minnesota, and I live in Minneapolis, and I have one income. So just so as you ask questions about like, what about this? How come you don't have an extra income? All those things. Let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing here is my first paycheck. They are the same. It's for my day job, and that's $1,862 each. That has become pretty consistent. It used to fluctuate where one was slightly more than the other, but now they've all balanced out. I don't know how. The next thing is that currently I'm a project manager for a friend of mine's online business. So I do that on the side, 10 hours-ish a week, give or take, more or less. I feel like this month might be a little bit hectic because we have a live event coming up, so I will be traveling to New York for that and giving at least 8 hours of time plus some other stuff in there. So I'm anticipating $800 after taxes. We shall see how that ends up pairing out. The next thing is transfer, and so when I first graduated college, my parents and I made an agreement that they would transfer over half of my student loan minimum payments until it's paid off, and so that is $300. And so if you total all of this up, which is a little bit sideways, you're gonna get $4,824 income budgeted for the month of October. Now we'll see what the actuals are like, and basically I do this to see, you know, what's the real difference here, plus or minus. So moving through, we're gonna move down to the expenses. I'm gonna zoom in a tad, a little bit more. So I break my expenses down into two categories, as you can see here. We've got fixed and variable. Fixed expenses are the ones that don't really change. So these are the ones that shouldn't really fluctuate from month to month. However, that being said, my lease did expire in my apartment, and so with a renewal, there was an increase that I had to deal with. And so moving forward, my rent will be per month $1,519. And then my parking, which was free last year, but they were able to give me a concession of only half this time, will be $85. And so total, those are not going to change every single month. The next thing is my internet, which I have CenturyLink, and that's going to be $79.95. And so then my sinking fund, I've done a video on my sinking funds. I will leave it linked up over in the corner for you if you're curious. But really, I just have a Capital One 360 account that I keep all of my extra. I have set aside some expenses that I know I'm going to pay later. So things like I go to Go Wild every year, so that's an expense that I save for. I renew my car tabs on a yearly basis. My car always needs maintenance. And the nice part is that you basically get a debit card, so what ends up happening is I can just kind of like swipe my card through an expense for my Capital One account, and basically I never have to worry about these sort of things like an oil change or car tabs or, you know, Christmas gifts for my family. I don't have to worry about those things ever being a surprise, right? So I used to put $180 a month. I've recently kicked that up a bit, so it's $280. I just wanted to get ahead of the Christmas season this year, I feel like, and make sure that's good. The next thing I have to worry about is my insurance, and that's gonna be $70 a month. And then the last thing that I include in here is my student loan minimum payment. I set this every single month. Initially on the graduated plan, I'm currently supposed to be paying, I think it's like $465.31 or something. But I've upped this to, I don't know where this number came from, but $808.35. So that's pretty nifty. And overall, these are gonna be my like major fixed expenses for the month, and they ultimately shouldn't change. If they do, that really means that I need to think about, did something happen on a one-time basis or is something else changing? So when we total all of that up, our expenses should be $2,842.30. All right, pretty cool. So now the fixed expenses are out of the way, let's talk about variable. So these are things that should fluctuate from month to month. Depending on how far I drive, my gas should be up or down. And what I try to do is at the beginning of the month, really anticipate or estimate how much I think I'm gonna need to be driving, or groceries or restaurant or all those things. So this month has a little bit of travel. I have to go up to St. Cloud for something. So I anticipated that will be a little bit higher than usual. So I put $125 for gas. I'm hoping I don't need to spend that much, but if I have to, it's there and budgeted for it, which is nice. The next thing is groceries. So I'm only one person and I tend to shop at Aldi and Trader Joe's pretty often, so I try really hard to keep my grocery budget down. So for me, this is going to be $225. Normally it's $250, but I will be spending a couple of days in New York for that work trip I was talking about, and there's also an item for it down below. So I figured move a little bit out of there and save it somewhere else. The next thing is my restaurant budget. I've tend to gone over in this category quite a bit, so I've recently increased it back up to $200 a month. I'm hoping that I'll have some leftover money here. This also does include if I go to coffee with people from work or something like that. It just ends up being easier that way. The next category is personal, which is $250. And this includes all sorts of shampoo, conditioner, house cleaning products, all sorts of stuff, anything that I need for my apartment. This also includes a haircut. I think I have a dentist appointment at the end of the month, so that would technically come out of here as well. The next thing I have is my YouTube expenses. So I budget $75, and this includes some software that I have. I use Canva every single month, the professional version, so that costs money. I have TubeBuddy as well for some tag stuff. And then also if I need to buy some stickers or anything like that, I have some money set aside for it. The next thing is my heating bill. This is also for cooling. It's from Excel Energy. I'm anticipating $75. It's starting to cool down a little bit, but I haven't had to turn the heat on, which is nice, so I'm hoping that will be able to be under for that. The next thing is UMS, which is Utility Management System, and that is going to be for my water and sewer and trash. And this has been pretty good recently, but I'm gonna put $30 down and see what happens. And then lastly, I will be in New York for a work thing, but I'm also gonna visit some family the next couple of days afterwards and work remotely. So I am anticipating $200. This includes like transportation and things like that will ultimately be reimbursed, but I wanted to just include them in there so I had an idea. Also, seeing some friends and those things is gonna cost money, so I just know that it is worth it to do that ahead of time. So if you add all of these things up, we should get $1,180. All right, so now here comes the fun part slash the stressful part. Down here at the bottom, what I do is I take my total income, which I mentioned earlier is $4,824, and my expenses. So adding up the fixed and the variable, your total there is going to be $4,022.30. Now when you subtract your income, your expenses from your income, there should be at least $801.70. So my thought is that I'd be able to make basically 2 months of minimum payments on my student loan with this balance left over. Because essentially anything I have left over from my budget gets allocated towards my student loan. So that's my main budget. We're kind of gonna flip over now. Let's go ahead and whoop. Here we go. So now we're gonna talk about debt. I will tell you that I've been on the debt snowball for quite a while now. I will leave a link to some of my quarterly snowball updates. One of those should be coming up actually, since we'll be moving into the 4th quarter of the year, which is super fun. But I've had a ton of different debts. I had a bunch of credit cards, a bunch of other smaller student loans that I've been able to get rid of, and this one is my final loan, and I am so excited. So starting balance for the month of October is $23,368.46. Whoop whoop. And so minimum payment, as I mentioned already, is $808.35. And so then we'll leave the extra blank, and then there'll be a new ending balance over here. Let me write that in. Ending. Yep. And so the beautiful thing about this is I used to have to total up on my debts, but now I can just drop it down. So the total debts that I owe currently, $368.46. Wonderful. That number was close to $60,000 when I started this journey, and so it's been slow and steady, and I'm just so excited to see it slowly but surely work its way down. Super, super cool. So the next thing we're gonna do is my sinking fund. As I mentioned, I have a Capital One 360 account that I really like to work towards and keep all of my money in, and I break it down into the following categories. So we have travel. This is really meant for like flying to see family and relatives for holidays and things, because family is a priority. It's not like, oh, off to Paris for a trip, or going to Bali or something. It's really not anything like that. The next thing is my medical sinking fund. So I have really good insurance, but it's just nice to know to be able to have some extra money lying around for those co-pays or those deductibles. The next thing is car maintenance. I recently paid my car off, and I know that this thing has to last me all the way until this debt-free journey is over and beyond. So making sure that I have some money set aside for them is important. The next thing on here is Go Wild, which we actually just found out where Go Wild 2019 will be, and it's actually going to be in Anaheim, California. So I was already starting to look up some flights and all sorts of other good stuff, and we'll be going through that. And then the last thing on here are my car tabs. They're renewed every single July, and so I'm still kind of trying to replenish that. But moving through all of these things, my travel fund currently sits at $377, which is more than sufficient for a round-trip flight home. When I say home, I mean back to New York, by the way. That's where my family is from, if you weren't sure. And then the next thing is medical, so that's $300, which pretty much sits there, and I haven't really been able to touch it. Then my car maintenance fund is around $400, and I have a feeling tires are in my future, so that's something I need to think about. My Go Wild fund is currently sitting at $300. And my car tab, since we did that back in August, is at $50. So all told, when you total all of that up, currently in my sinking fund, we have $1,427. Now the fun part about these Capital One 360 accounts is that they are interest bearing. It's not gonna be a ton, it's not gonna make you wealthy, but it is nice to see that number added in at the end of the month. So just an extra little thing. Really, really proud of that, and enjoy the fact that I do that. If you're interested in getting one of these, I have a link down below in the description box if you're curious. So the last thing here are my financial goals. These are the things that are connecting me back to what's most important. And so some of the goals for me, number one is curb my eating out / bring my lunch. This has been such a tough thing for me. Working in downtown Minneapolis, there are so many good options, and I just want to go grab a salad or Chipotle or something delicious. But I realize that I can make something just as delicious at home and not have to worry about it. So that's going to be one of my main focuses for the month of October. So the next thing really is to focus on the small financial wins. So many times we can think about, oh my gosh, I owe $23,000. It's never gonna get paid. What am I gonna do? This is terrible, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, that can be monotonous, and I'm a really firm believer in the more that you think about and what you talk about, you bring about. And so for me, focusing on those little things like, hey, this week I only ate out once, or I turned down going to meet friends at a bar and had them come to my house instead. Like, all of those things are wins that you should be proud of. And so for me, that's something that the month of October is all about, is celebrating those small wins. Whether it's on the scale, if you're working out, or if it's in your bank account, you're able to save an extra 50 bucks here or there, or you're able to cut your grocery spending, savor those and remember that you are actually making progress, and that's a big deal. So those are my 2 goals for the month of October. I hope you guys enjoy them. We're gonna zoom out for a second here and wrap this thing up because we are all said and done. So that's about gonna wrap up this budget. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it, and it does help the channel out. If you have any questions or suggestions on how I can cut my budget to really get gazelle intense, go ahead and leave that down in the comment box down below. I always appreciate it, and you have all been so supportive. You can follow me over on social media. I'm on Instagram over at A Man With The Plans. I'm also over on Facebook at A Man With The Plans. Go ahead and follow and like those pages. I make new videos generally every Monday and every Thursday. I'm going to be rethinking my publishing schedule, so just be on the lookout for those, but I highly recommend you subscribe so you can see my videos whenever they're published. I hope you're making excellent financial choices for October as we head into the last quarter of the year. I'm so excited to move on this journey with you all, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye, planner friends.